Pleasure. I'm actually happy to be here, and I know this backdrop. I've seen a lot of superstars in front of them, and actually my favorite has always been the Iron Sheik, the same three guys. And there was a moment where Jeff Hardy was hanging from the belts,
right?
And Edge speared him through it, speared him all the way down to the mat. And that to me was the moment where I was like, I gotta do this. This is what I want to do, and I gotta try it somehow. He's like, all right, today we're gonna learn punches. So all right, so he comes up to me, he just goes, boof, decks me right in the mouth. I'm on the floor. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, well, guys, that's a real punch. Now we're gonna do a worker punch. So he goes to the next guy and does a worker. Don't try and shake their hand. Your hand's dirty. In the locker room, I remember I dressed in the locker room once, and everybody kind of gave me the stank eye. So I was like, I'm gonna take my stuff outside. So I dressed with the extras for like 3 months. And I remember I had this conversation with Christian York, because they put us up. We're in Baltimore. I think it was Baltimore, and they set us up in a broom closet. It wasn't an Nazi camp. Now that's where it is. You walk on eggshells. Everybody's tired.
Yeah.
The schedule that they have them on, which don't get me wrong,
right?
They're building machines right now, and that's amazing because the athleticism these guys have right now is insane. The cardio, the wind that they have, the stamina is insane. But nobody's having fun. Everybody's so tired. Everybody's getting hurt. About 2 years ago, when they were still in Tampa. We used to have this weight trainer, or this trainer. His name was Rob McIntyre, and he was John Cena's trainer. So we would go to him. I don't necessarily agree with some of the drills he does, but that's another thing. So as this happened, a lot of guys started getting hurt. So we were just like, okay, well, what changed? Hey, Bill. Hey, so I'm doing it. I don't know anything. So then we get to the back, and then I forget what the agent was. It might have been Dean Malenko. I don't remember. But he was like, hey, who gave you that name? I was like, well, that's my name. He's like, no. We got to come up with a name for you. I was like, nobody. Because obviously I didn't really talk. Once the real's talking, I'm in the back. I'm not doing anything. So I started watching a lot of silent movies. I started watching Jay and Silent Bob for Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith never talked. Right. So he was always in the back, just kind of making stupid faces. So I would watch a lot of that.
That's interesting.
I would watch a lot of that. I would watch a lot of silent movies. When it came down to like the bumping, I would watch boxing, because I would figure, okay, when somebody gets, which way do they go? This way, okay. And then a lot of it to me was just saying, fuck it, gonna have fun. Might as well. We used to have a lot of golden rules, locker room rules that don't exist anymore. Like for instance, back in the day when I started, if you were coming up from NXT or FCW back in the day, and you're not in the ring before the show, that was like a cardinal sin. If you're up in the bleacher sitting on your phone, that was a cardinal sin. You should be in the ring or by the ring.
Yeah.
If for instance, I'm new, and then we get into the flight, and then I'm sitting towards the front, and I have an agent. You know what? Like I was just a ring announcer. Like that's all they had told me. They never told me any direction of what they wanted. Vince was probably the main drive between in Ricardo and Alberto, because he was the only one that really came up to us and said, "Hey, do it this way. Try it this week. Okay, this week it didn't work out this way. Next week, let's try it this way." So Vince was very, very supportive of me and Alberto.
Was he approachable?
I feel that the company was fucking with him a lot, and he just said, "Screw it, I'm out." And that's basically what happened to me. That's what I did. I felt the company was messing with me, and I just said, "All right, out."
Miz?
Mrs. Miz. I think at one point, everybody's trying to beat him up. At one point, in the 4 years that I was there,
Right.
Everybody's trying to beat him up once.
Dolph?
So we get to NXT, we get to FCW, and everybody's asking him, "Oh, hey, good job on Raw," and because again, for singles, he's like, "Yeah, I had it down and all that stuff," and I'm sitting there, no, fuck you, I told you the match. So there, after that, I was like, dude, Brodus, shut up.
Right.
Shut up. And then there was another one where it was, I think it was Extreme Rules 2011. It was Alberto versus Christian for the ladder match for the vacant title. And there was a spot where it was at the end, right at the end. Unfortunately, Brodus got busted open, like bloodied. Where the the refs were telling him, hey, dude, no, you have to get to the back. And he's like, no, I have to. And this, I did hear him. Because the spot was, Del Rio was about to grab the belt. Edge comes, pushes him off, and lands on top of us on the outside. So Brodus, and I did hear him say this. He's like, no, I have to. I have one more spot. So he comes up. He comes. Alberto drops. I'm the one that catches him. Brodus just kind of does one of those. Yeah. So I'm the one that catches him. If you go back and watch the video, I caught him.
Right.
We get to the back. Because they're checking him because he's gushing.
I remember.
Gushing.
Yeah. I think he talked about this in his interview too with us.
Okay,
yeah.
so he's gushing, and then we get to the back, and then he's like, yeah, I caught him. I was there. I caught him. So I'm in the real. We're just like,
Right.
yeah, whatever. I was, okay, here's what you're saying. Here's what you're saying. Okay, because John had a match later on, so he didn't even bother about the promo.
Is John one of the boys, or does he act different?
It depends. It depends. With myself and Alberto, like I know he liked us a lot. Alberto, because obviously I think the caliber of athlete that he is, you can't really have a bad match with Alberto. And I know he liked me a lot because of the stuff I would do outside of the ring, which is kind of what I wanted to get to eventually, like what separated me from all the other managers, which might as well do it now.
Yeah, good.
And this is why I think a lot of the guys used to like to work with me and Alberto. Just to amuse himself. I know he does that a lot, just to amuse himself. Because like, especially when it comes to like live events, if you're working the same guy for 3 nights in a row, after a while, after like a month of it, you're like, I want to tweak it. Yeah, I want to tweak it.
Yeah.
So John would like do that all the time. He would just switch it just to amuse himself. And he would use me a lot to say, hey, tell Del Rio this. Del Rio told me. I would go tell John. Or when it came to Punk, like Punk or Randy. And with Randy, he does this now where he'll go for the power slam, but the guy hooks onto the ropes. He lands an all 4. Well, the original idea was that we gave him, because he does that now a lot. He rolls on all 4. And what does piss me off though, and this is where a lot of things started kind of going sour for me, and I started getting bitter. It wasn't mentioned after that. I think Punk mentioned it once in the promo, but it wasn't even like he put it over. He just mentioned it. After that, it wasn't brought up. It wasn't brought up on the magazine. It wasn't brought up on reviews. It wasn't brought up on SmackDown. It wasn't brought up on why I wasn't there. It wasn't brought up on why I was wearing a neck brace. It wasn't brought up at all. So
why do you think that is?
I don't know. They don't know what I was doing down at NXT, or that I was training their guys that are there now in WWE. They don't know the struggle that I had to go through to get to where I am now. They don't know that. All they see was that doof, like that was on WWE in a tuxedo, rolling his R's. That's all they see. So they never saw, or they don't understand that. Not only was I doing that, I'm a wrestler first. That's what I did for 4 years before I was even signed.
The Shield attacking him?
Oh man, let me tell you about that one. So I had that night. All right, so actually, let me backtrack.
Okay.
That pay-per-view, that TLC with 3MB, I was supposed to be in that match. But the week prior, I think it was like a week or 2 prior, I got a concussion from Ryback at Tribute to those Troops. So the original plan was supposed to be Miz, Del Rio, and me against 3MB. And right before even getting in the middle, I think it was Dean or Seth just goes, boof, right to my face. And it clocks me, like, legit. And obviously, I'm on the ground, and I'm just, I go into that mode that, like, fuck you, dude.
Right.
So I start swinging back, and then, like they shut me down, and I'm just spitting. Like, you motherfuckers, piece of shit. Like, I'm cursing. I don't even know if it got caught on camera, but I'm cursing because I'm hot. Like, you pieces of shit motherfuckers, this and this, and every obscenity you can think of.
Right.
And I'm spitting at it, all of them. I'm just fucking, but eventually I ball up. Whatever, they leave, cut, they come up, and then they do the whole, thank you. And I was like, no, I just fucking went off on all 3 of them. I went off on all 3 of them. I was like, you motherfuckers, piece of shit. I went off on Dean. I was like, go back to CZW, you fucking piece of shit. And I went off on Seth and Roman. I went off on all 3 of them. To the point where Carano and Michael Hayes had to come and like, dude, what happened? And I just fucking, again, went off on them. These motherfuckers, used to have promo class with Vince. And I remember this one specifically because I was brand new. So I just stood up in the corner just by myself, just quiet. He kept walking by, and McGillicuddy, Curtis Axel, had his foot out. So Vince would go and step on his foot on purpose. And just keep walking. Just keep talking, come back, step on his foot, walk, boom, step on his foot. And then eventually he turned around and he's like, aren't you gonna say anything? And then Miguel he's like, oh no, sorry, sir. It's like, no. Like, you don't realize what I'm doing. Like, I'm stepping your foot on purpose because I want you to say something. Like, Vince likes it when you stand up for yourself. Vince likes it when you go, if you have an issue, address it. He doesn't like it when you become a little bitch.
Man, right.
Yeah. And it was a stupid injury, and I was there when it happened. I was there when I saw him backstage, and I've never seen a human act that way. So I knew it was bad, just because he went from hot to cold within a second. Like, just randomly, he would be walking, and then just like, and I've been told this happens a lot too. Like, either you're emotional, you become very emotional, with when it gets to that severity. Because I remember he was still with Biggie, he was still with AJ, so like AJ and Biggie were like holding him, and he was crying, and then all of a sudden he would just stop, and I was like, holy shit! And then me and Doreen was like, dude, it must have been really bad, and then he would just sit there and then not talk. So I remember Biggie stayed with Dolph that night. Same thing when Del Rio got hurt. Like, I stayed with him. There's a couple things you don't mess with, and that's the money. The money, I can swallow my pride as much as I can, but when it comes to the money, now you're affecting myself, you're affecting my family, you're affecting my well-being and my income. So now that's a whole nother world.
What happened there?
When I was working with the locals, of course, we're working the matches, so I'm doing my stuff. And then he made a comment one day, like, oh, he's a bumblebee, and then he made a reference to Super Crazy. I really don't. I feel like if you're not one of his little projects or his little toys, he doesn't matter. Like, you don't matter. I saw the transition between Vince's regime and then Hunter's regime. Like, I saw that transition, and we all saw it coming. Or Laurinaitis, whatever. So we all saw that coming, and we saw how, like, the older guys that had been there before just kind of got pushed back. Everybody got pushed back.
Right.
Your Sheamus, your Wade Barrett, Del Rio. And granted, most of us were Laurinaitis boys. We were his little projects, his hirees. And at that time, we were still, I think we were the last of the kind of people that were like, if we had issues, we would speak about it. We would, speak up. We would stand up for ourselves. If we had money issues, we would go, hey, dude, what the fuck? Now, like I said earlier, if you speak up, oh, you're complaining. Oh, okay. Well, you're off the house shows. So I noticed that difference, and like I said, if you're not one of his boys, one of his little toys, you don't really matter. Like, how many times? And I love the Wyatts. But how many times do you have to see him on Raw? I can see him in the beginning, maybe if you want something in the middle, and then at the end. You don't have to see him every other fucking segment. Same with the Shield. You don't have to see him every other segment. You still have 40 other guys on the roster that are still waiting for a spot. Pick up your plate. He's like, oh no, that's what Alberto's for. Alberto got wind of the comment, confronted him. Cody didn't apologize and just kind of smiled at him, which I do that. Okay, following week, I get pulled into the office, and they're like, I thought we told you not to do the extras. I was like, wait, hold on. You guys asked me to do it. I don't get it. You guys asked me to do it. We told you it was not your job. It's like, wait, I've been doing this for, like, at this point, 3.5 years. I've been doing it for 3.5 years. Not once did you guys ever say anything. Why now? Why are you guys having an issue with it now? So, I still never found out. I never found out. But I was like, no, Paul said it's not your job. Fuck, what? Okay. Okay, so you took me off TV. I'm doing this commentary thing, which I'm doing them, and I'm finishing them early. So I liberate your camera crew to do whatever the fuck you guys are doing elsewhere. And now you're taking away the only thing I had left, which was the tryouts. That was the only thing I had left. Just don't do that. Okay, so what do I do? Like, just sit there and just stand there? Because eventually it got to a point where I was also helping out the girls for a little bit. And they told me, I remember this is actually early on too. They're like, they pulled me into the office. They're like, are you an agent? I was like, no. Why are you training the girls? Like, I'm not training them. I'm just helping them. They asked me for opinions, like how to do something. That's not your job. I was like, okay, what the fuck? So, I gotta do this. Ask me about Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on Ted DiBiase?
Fuck the Ted DiBiase!